Hello everyone, welcome to NKP's podcast. So today we're going to talk about how real is depression. There's a lot of questions out there about depression. Is depression real? Have you ever been depressed? A lot of questions like this. Today we're going to answer 5 questions about depression. So this question was sent to us by some of our viewers. So if you want to send a question in one way or the other, you can DM Nathan Keys React on Facebook. So let's begin with the first question about depression. The first thing for you to identify in order to control your emotions is to identify the triggers. If you can understand why people do what they do, that means you're an emotional, intelligent person. Living in the moment. Forget about the future, forget about the past, and live in the moment. One of the things that cause unhappiness is because we try to focus on things we can't control. People's words are just opinions, they are not facts. No one can make you inferior without your consent. If someone says something bad against you, oh, that's okay. Now you only get angry when you react negatively to what the person said. So try asking yourself, what is the other person thinking? Why is the other person doing what he or she is doing at that moment? It's better for you to keep a relationship and lose an argument than to win an argument and lose a relationship. The first question, hello Nathan Kispo. I understand that depression is a silent barrier. Can you share some personal insight on how it feels to live with depression? Well, this question is a very deep one. Depression is a silent battle. Most of the times we pay attention to what we can see. Our mental health, sometimes we pay less attention to that. We can't see what's going on upstairs, so most of the times we don't pay attention to our mental health. Depression is somehow real. Personally, I think depression is real, and feeling depressed and being depressed are two different things. Depression is a mental illness. So sometimes we just feel sad for a while and assume we are depressed. Depression is something that lasts for 2 weeks and months. So if you feel sad for a few days, like 2 days or more, let's say less than a week, sometimes we just assume that we have been depressed. That's just temporary sadness. If you feel sad from 2 weeks or more, you can say then that you have been depressed. If not, you just felt depressed. You have not been depressed. Depression is more deeper than just feeling depressed. So let's go to the second question. Hello, sir. How can someone differentiate between experiencing a low mood, in brackets, sadness, and actually being clinically depressed? Now this is a very important subject. Being depressed and sadness, they are two different things. Now, the main difference between depression and sadness is that depression lasts more than 2 weeks. Depression at least 2 weeks and above. During these 2 weeks, you feel empty. So if you feel sad for 2 days, 3 days, even an hour, sometimes we feel sad for an hour and we assume that we are depressed. That is not depression. That is temporary sadness. Depression is something that lasts for at least 2 weeks or months. So the next question says, hello sir, I'm liking NKP podcast already. God bless the movement. I wish to ask, I believe depression may affect many people differently. So what are some of the symptoms or manifestations of depression? So now this comes to the signs and symptoms of a depressed person. So some of the common symptoms may include tiredness. You feel tired always, you sleep a lot. Sometimes you may sleep less. So it all depends on the individual. Depression may cause you to sleep less, sometimes may cause you to sleep more. During this period also, you feel empty, you feel worthless. In rare cases, you may have thought of suicide. So these are some symptoms of a depressed person or someone undergoing depression. Let's go to the next question. Some people experience seasonal depression. What are the symptoms and possible treatment of this kind? Seasonal depression is that type of depression that comes as a result of seasonal change. Now it comes especially during the period where there's less light. Those seasons where there's less light. Now the best treatment for this is always to expose yourself to light, either natural or artificial light. That's the most easiest treatment to this type of depression, seasonal depression. So the next question, greetings Nathan Kispo. I have seen people with depression and I could not help. So I wish to ask, does depression has a treatment? If yes, Name a few. Depression has treatment. So there are some things you need to consider to free yourself from depression. Let's begin with that. Before we go to the treatment, let's talk about precaution. There are things you need to consider to avoid being depressed. I always say this: depression is a state of mind. If you accept to be depressed, you'll be depressed. If you refuse to be depressed, you will never be depressed. So depression only comes if you accept it. Some of the ways you can prevent depression is to live in the moment. Forget about the future, forget about the past. Live in the moment. Live as if it's your last day on earth. Overthinking sometimes causes depression. It makes you feel empty. It makes you feel worthless and a lot more. So for you to avoid depression, live in the moment. Other ways to prevent depression is learning how to manage your emotions. If you can manage your emotions, avoid taking things personally, knowing that not everything is about you. You can comment below other forms of treatment or other ways people can use to manage depression. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and peace out.